Dave here. How are you? Today is, and I've got to check what date it is. I think it is the 18th of March 2018, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Now, Australia will be falling back from daylight savings on over Easter. Now that's another couple of weeks away. So be aware that we will have a time zone change, and also we will have, I think already in the States, some people have sprung forward. And I don't know if the UK has sprung forward yet or they're about to. So if you know those details, let me know, pop it up in the chat. I do need to do a quick little bit of housekeeping here. I can see that the stream is running. So I have flicked that to there, moving this over to here. And now I can see up here, and I can see I've got a fair few people there saying, hello, Jay Parrott, you are first. Indeed you are. Now, let me have a quick look. I say let me too much. I'm going to have a quick look. I don't need your permission. What do we got? What do we got? I've checked the streams running. We'll talk about things that have happened, interesting things from the week. And also, just to let people know who haven't watched the show before, the first 5 to 10 minutes will be a little bit of chat. It's bearable. Come on, guys. You can hang out with me while I'm having a bit of a chat. I'm hoping that the sound and everything is coming through. Finally at a time when I can watch live. Excellent, Peter. So I am going to read through a little bit. As I say, put up with it for about 5 or 10 minutes, throw some stuff in the chat, and the chat actually stays. It was the first time last week. That was pretty exciting. I could watch the show recorded about an hour after I'd done it, after the show had been presented. That sounds better than done it. And it was fascinating. I was watching live real time, as far as the show was concerned, and the chats were popping up real time relative to what was happening on the show. So that was a bit of fun in the background as well. It was great to see all the comments, and I'm sorry if I don't get to respond to all the comments during the show, because sometimes they're coming so thick and fast I don't get to see them while I'm actually doing this, but I do read them after. So please leave comments, good or bad, I don't care, I can take it. Also, thumbs up if you can. If you like what I'm doing, thumbs up is a really good thing to help me along. And someone asked me about that the other day. Why subscribe and why do the thumbs up? And I said to them, the easiest way I can explain it is like free-to-air TV. Now, free-to-air TV gets funded by commercials and sponsorship and so on and so forth, and it relies on ratings. Now, thumbs up and subscribing is much like you giving me a good rating. So if you can do that, it's very much appreciated, because then it makes advertisers who are looking to promote their product in the kind of things that I do. Like, I'm not going to have someone advertising ice cream on a woodworking channel. So you follow my drift? So there may be something that, you know, the more financial companies would probably start to advertise here, and you may just find something that pops up that says, you know what, that's not a bad idea, I might go with that. So that's explaining why I asked for the thumbs up and the subscribe. And also, you know, it's my ego. I've got to be honest. So what's the thing? What are we going to do today? The winner of the IMUFs, Lan Davies. Well, let's jump straight into there. I'll see if I can find a picture of Lan. And I'm hoping I've got it there. There it is. And here he is wearing the IMUFs. Now, how cool is that? I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, Lan has said that he's not terribly photogenic, but what the hell? He's going to put them on because I asked him to. Now, it's fortunate that I actually gave him blue eye muffs, because look behind him. It appears that Lan is a bit of a Makita bug, or not Makita bug, a buff, and he also is wearing a blue shirt. How cool is that? It's just so nice. There you go. That's a little bit of Lan showing a bit of support for my show. Thank you very much, Lan. And I hope those eye masks work brilliantly for you. I've been wearing mine a lot more than I thought I would. So, you know, go out and grab some. I think I put a link down there for them. Or if you want, I am told by George that he's going to send some more up to me for giveaways on the show. I sent an email down to him. Apparently he's very busy and has been traveling a bit, so he may not have seen those yet. George, if you do see that email, if you flick me one back, and we'll see if we can get some more for giving away on the show. That'd be great. And back to the camera here. You had enough of Lan. You can see me in a blue shirt now. So how good is that? A little bit of a round of applause for Lan winning the IMUFs. Next thing. Also, during the week, I went out to the Hills Men's Shed, And I put a photo of their shed on Facebook, and isn't it an amazing place? So I've got another photo of that today, and the outside as well. The reason I went out there is, you guys know I work a few days a week for Carvatech. So I went out there because they'd had a motor had a bit of an issue in one of the machines. So Carvatech said to me, grab another motor, Dave, take it out there, switch it over for them, and away it went. And it performed. Just turned it on. It went beautifully. Very easy thing to do. And I'll show you. I had to take the drive pulley off the motor to put it on the other motor. Of course, the motors don't come with a drive pulley. They come with a spindle and a keyway and a key. And so I'll show you a photo of how I did that as well. That might be a bit interesting. Then down to the next thing. Yellow box shed 3D printed woodworking accessories to work with a standard bench. Angle supports. I'm going to show you the Buddy angle supports, these things, and how they work. And also the taller. I'll put my hand behind it so it focuses on there. The taller of these little paint supports, and also John's legs. Now, this isn't really the shape of his leg. This is a leg for the Stanton bench. Imagine getting around like that. Clomp, 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 clomp. I'm an idiot. Anyway, this is all 3D printed in one hit, and he's put a thread inside here as well. And focus on that. And a 5/16 rod, which goes straight into the brass insert nuts that I advise you to get for the Stanton bench. Now, they're fantastic because there's no movement with those, or very little movement. The downside, of course, is that the bench cookies and the riser legs that I talk about in the plans are separatable. And is that a word? Separatable? Oh. Anyway, we just made it up if it isn't a word. And so you can use those for other things. But I'm sure if you asked John, he could 3D print some bench cookies for you as well. What else have we got? And I think I put a link down the bottom for John's Yellow Box Shed. If it's not there, it's just www.yellowboxshed.com.au. Duck over and have a look. He's been flooded during the week, and he's over the moon. He's so excited. He sends me little text messages and messages on Facebook. Dave, it's just amazing. I had to buy all this new filament for the 3D printer, and it's given him a real big boost. You know that John is not a very well man. He's got a kidney condition, so not too far down the track, he may have to go into dialysis. So this is really keeping his spirits up. So not only is it a way for you guys to get some great bargains and some handy items for your bench, but also it's keeping John's spirits up, and that's what we want to do. This is all about community. I do this show because I like to help. If you can help me doing other things here, that's great. People give feedback, they give me information, and that's great. I'm not a know-all. I don't know everything. Surprisingly enough, I don't know everything, but I know a bit. But I know there's people out there that know a truckload more than me, and they give me information as well, and I can share that with you guys. Excellent. All right, next thing. Veritas Mk honing guide, which is in bits and pieces at the moment in front of me. Louis from Norway has asked if I can do a quick demonstration. He's just bought one, and I will go through that. One of the viewers' projects, Paul Mumford's Lazy Susan, and let's do with that right now. So bear with me. Paul Mumford, Paul, there you are. And I'll wait for it. I'll start reading before I actually get into his pictures of it. Hi Dave, I've only recently discovered your channel and love it along with your video library. Fascinating and informative. Unfortunately, I don't get to watch live Sunday mornings because I'm usually out on the bike, but do tend to catch up in the evening. Currently setting up my own small workshop in Mount Victoria, and I've discovered all sorts of new ideas for it through your work. Below is my latest project, a simple Lazy Susan. I'll click this over to here. So here we go. Paul, this is your time in the sun. I don't know if you're on the bike today or not. It's made of 3 pieces of 19mm pine joined with dowel. The disc was cut using a jig I made from aluminium angle and rectangular tubing. It carries both my jigsaw and my plunge router, the latter used to cut the curved edge on the project. Both machines are getting ancient now, but still doing a great job. The only drawback from using this jig is the 6mm hole in the center. But as you can see, this was plugged with dowel, and acts as a feature. It helps align Lazy Susan center of our square 8-seater dining table. I'll flick it back over to this camera before it runs out. And the Lazy Susan mechanism was purchased online and fitted before cleanup and final finishing. It is finished with about 8 or 9 coats of shellac, the last 2 being hard shellac. Hope you like it. Well, thanks for that, Paul. That's fantastic. This is something also that I encourage. If you've got a project that you're working on or pets in the shop, send them in to me. It's great. I love to be able to show these things. And as I say, Paul said that he used a dowel to line everything up when he was doing the end. Now, he didn't have to drill that dowel all the way through the top. He could have done it as a blind hole. And that's something that as time goes by, he'll probably think, oh yeah, why didn't I just do a blind hole so that I didn't have to worry about the top after? And that is a good centering pin, and it's a great idea. What's the next thing? Next thing. Let's get on to some demonstration. I will read through a little bit of the chat because I promised to do that, and then we'll go straight over to a demonstration. We'll start with John's, what do they call them? John's angle brackets. They're pretty clever. Here we go. I'm going to start reading. What, punished for being punctual? No, punished for coming early. Govinda, good morning all. Ralph Lorentzen, good morning all here from Denmark. Stephen, morning everyone. Jay Parrott, I will behave. Okay, you can come back out of the corner now. But just no trying to jump queues. Darren Allen, g'day Dave. Tried to get here for a start, but adding PowerPoints to my mobile cabinets, I'll go to the corner for 5 minutes. That's okay. Well, you can let yourself out when you're done. Stephen Walbank, watching this from a round room, no corners. Okay. I don't know how many people are in here. I don't know if you're doing the thumbs up. If there's thumbs up, or if you can let me know even how many people are in here and watching and how many thumbs up, that'd be great. Let's flick over to the other camera. Now I've aligned it into a different position so you can actually see what I'm doing this time. Here we go. Come on, transition. Do it. There we go. Now a little bit of a drink as I'm coming over. All right, so you can see where I am, and you'll see that I'm looking pretty dark in this. Sorry, late. Michael, that's all right, Michael. You know the drill. Off you go, corner. Quick drink. Now, first of all, let's recap on what I was talking about last week. Some of the things that John does are these tiny little bench dogs. Now, these are a 20mm, and he 3D prints them. And this is a little kind of a painting cap cone. Ordinarily, they're a pyramid. Now, they push together like so. You pop them down to wherever you're working, and it will support something. Let's put them side by side there. I love this. And I can put something on there, and I can put a finish on it. I can go around the edges, but sometimes if that may not be high enough, I might want to elevate it so I can get the brush underneath to get rid of any drips that are under there. So at the same time, he came up with another thing. I'll move those there, over there. It's like playing checkers, isn't it? He's come up with this. Now this is a threaded rod section. I'll come over a bit closer. I love this stuff. Ingenious. So this is a standard Parf dog from Peter Parf at UJK Systems. It has an 8mm thread down the center. And the reason I've got this is because there's 3 different people I know that do dogs. And Peter is one of them. TSO Products do an aluminium dog. They do a series of dogs for their stuff. And also, of course, John does dogs as well. Now, John 3D prints, and he actually 3D prints the 8mm thread inside of the dog. I don't have any of those at the moment, so I can't really show you that. So what happens is this 8mm thread. How's that? Having a quick read. Blue and red makes them look like a name. It does look like a garden name. Lisa Cantel, 88 watching, 46 thumbs up. Okay, if anyone can give me another thumbs up, that'd be great. Lisa, hi Dave, Doug Marriott here at my daughter's place. Now, are you cross-dressing? Come on, is your name, are you calling yourself Lisa, or is this really your daughter's place? Alambi Heights with grandchildren, Olive and Lewis. Just saying here, before flying out to Hawaii tomorrow, how good is that? When you're over at Hawaii, look up Ron Polk and say good day to him. Ron's a good friend of mine over there. Lostwitz, part of the draw of the bench cookies is non-slip. What would be added to John's feet? Well, hold on a second. Let me get to that. I'm throwing this in here. So there we go. How's that? I can adjust it to height to wherever I want. And, you know, I can do a few of them. So I'm building a new bench down here, or a new system down here. And I'm not going to show you it until I'm done. But I've got drawers everywhere now down there. I love it. And let's slide that into TSO Products. Dog, hold on, I haven't got a thread in there. It might be in this one. Here we go. Why is that foul? Oh, there's a bit of gunk in the end. I haven't taken that out. I'm an idiot. Let's put the other one in. Let's put this one in, just to prove it works in TSA products as well as path systems. Yep, there she goes. Well, that was a bit of a, oh, what have I done? There you go. How cool is that? So they're adjustable in height, and again, if I had a few of them there, I could sit things up like that. So that's great for John to be able to do that. And what else we got? I'll pop these away as I'm going. I love having the drawers. It makes such a difference. All right, let's talk about the feet. I'll bring it over closer so you can see. That's his leg. As I say, it's not John's leg that he runs around on. And you notice he's already got non-slip on the bottom. So that's how he supplies it. Thread, 5/16 thread in the top. That is the perfect height for the Stanton bench. And as I say, the non-slip there as well. Now with all non-slip stuff, if you get any dust on it, it will slide. That's all there is to it. You know, it's the nature of the beast. So as it is, let's pop it on here. Let's see if it's going to move this around. This area has got non-slip. This doesn't. Put the dog on it. It gets a hold. Don't worry about that. Great stuff. Look, two legs. This is John going for a walk. Oh dear. What's next? What's next? This guy. This is pretty amazing. Now, if you own a Craig router table, you know what this does? He's metrificated the fine adjust for the Craig router table that was Imperial. This goes straight on. See that? There's no such word as metrificated, except for David just made it up then. It's metrified. Metrified. I'm an idiot. Okay. He has converted it to the metric system. There we go. But metrificated, I like that. I like that's a good word. These things just come to me. I don't know where they come from. Did I say that? All right, what are we up to next? These angle dogs, angle brackets, how these guys work. I'll bring it over close. So these things have a recess here for a dog to drop into 20mm hole. And these support skinny things or tall things when you're using them in conjunction with these guys. Get a couple of these out. Now these are Festool's MFT3 clamping elements, and they come ordinarily with a couple of these. Now these are the stops that you'd put to support something. So I would put that there like that, and I'd put the clamp on the other side and push up, pull it all the way up to there, and push up and hold it. Now it holds it, but you can see I've got a fair bit of wobble there. Now, if we were using John's system, as designed in conjunction with Steve, you will see that if I was to put that there, got a broken thumbnail. How'd that happen? Do you guys do on-the-go manicuring? It's very rare that I'll use scissors. If I get a tear, I'll just continue it. Otherwise, it'll catch on something. And it's rare that I've got scissors with me. You know, that's just an aside. Okay, I'm going to keep reading through. Peter, Quasdog's also. Matthew, there you are, guys. Bernardo, super cool. Lost Wits, metrification is a word. Okay, there you go. You're on fire today. Thanks, Steve. Cameron McDonald, metrification is what our government has done to the Canadian dollar. W. John in Oz, I'm here until Tuesday. Don't forget to try the veal. Old joke. I will see if I can remember what the hell that old joke is, but I'll do it. Lisa Cantel, hello Dave, Doug's grandchildren here. Okay. Hi there, Doug's grandchildren. How are you? What do they call you, Doug? Do they call you granddad or pop or poppy or hey you, old man? I don't know. Where was I up to? I was going to get a clamp. That's right. A couple of these guys. Now, I'm hoping that's right. There we go. I think they're right. Festool, TSO. They both are a knob with an 8mm thread. That's all there is to it. I'm checking that they're meshing. And ages ago, I bought a thread and nut. So it's a bolt and nut thread checking set. And I'll tell you what, I use it all the time. Before then, I've never really used it. It's when I change subjects. Don't worry about that. When I duck down to the local Bunnings or a hardware store, at Bunnings they had a thread checker on the wall in their bolt section. So if you had a bolt that you had from home, you go up to it and try it in there. I thought, wouldn't it be handy to have something like that in the workshop? But the things were going to cost about $150 flown in from the States. I thought, no, too much. So I found this link for a nut and thread checker that's on a little kind of a section of wire and does metric and imperial. Very, very handy. Have a look for it. I'll see if I can find it. I'll throw a link in the box down the bottom for you as well. Very, very handy. Now, why was I saying that? This thing here, I'm going to screw this through under there. Doesn't take long. It's always good to try and clamp something down. Now look at that. It's not going anywhere. It's locked in, rock solid. And I'll put it up this way. I'll rotate it like so you can watch it in action. And I'll put another one in down here. So far it's all TSO dogs. I can use the tall dogs or small dogs. It makes no difference really. So catching it, there she goes. Locked. All right, piece of plywood against the buddies. And you're not seeing the buddies from that side, you're going to see the clamps from that side. Put the clamp against it. And this one. There's not a lot of movement there, buddy. There's not a lot of movement there at all. These things are very handy for very small, fine stuff. And how about I get my hand plane? This is something I hadn't really prepared for, but let's do it. And John will like me saying this because he made the knob for the front of it as well. So this is my Stanley number 4.5. And if you haven't seen, this is a little knob that John knocked up on his 3D printer for me. And let's see how we go. Nice, fine shavings. And that's going to be the next subject. We'll jump in with the Veritas Mark II honing gauge, or gauge, whatever it is. Now, why am I showing you these things? If you decide that you want to make a top for this, as I say, this thing is called the Stanton match. If you want to just make the top and not make the apron at the front, because some people are saying, it's a bit difficult to make the apron. Well, it's not really, but if you find it is a bit difficult, you could just make the top with the anti-slip and all that kind of stuff and the track, like I show you. Just make half of the plan, and then you could get these kind of things, and that is your vertical support. It's not going to be as effective as being able to clamp something either side and create a joint, if you follow what I'm saying there, but it's going to help you out an awful lot. So that's those things. I don't think there's anything else that I've missed. If you want to, you can watch last week's show. Oh, and while I'm talking about that, if you're new, or even if you aren't, you may not be aware, but I keep all of my other shows on my other channel. So if you can go over there and have a look, and I'll have the link in the description box down below, do me a favor, subscribe to that channel as well, because I need to get it up to 1,000 subscribers. If not, I think I'll probably end up just letting that channel die a death, because YouTube has this thing at the moment where they don't give you any reward for having anything if you don't have 1,000 subscribers. I'm fine with this channel. I've got 43,000 subscribers at the moment, which is fantastic. I want to grow that. Of course we do. We all want to go bigger and better. And if you can help me out with the other channel, that'd be great. So even if you're not going to watch anything over there, jump over it, subscribe, click a like on one of the videos, and away we go. And hopefully it'll get it up to, I think there's about 150 subscribers at the moment. We can get it up a little bit higher, that'd be fantastic. I'm looking for 1,000 if I can get it. Now, what was the next thing I was going to do? I think that's it as far as all of this stuff here is concerned. Let's jump back over to the chat and we'll see what's happening over there. Switching cameras. Back over on this side. And I'm going to have a quick look back through here. Pop, it's a Pop, is that what they call him? Okay, well, Pop's off to Hawaii. Good on you, Pop. Okay, John, going to the corner. I hope I can hear from there. Last week, John, do you make the knobs? You'd have to ask John. G'day, Dave from Adelaide, from Flair. Manuel, that is brilliant. He's such a clever guy. John, just working on the knob design now. Will be ready during this week. Peter, John Lowry, thank God you're here. The corner's getting a little crowded. Okay, everyone out of the corner. It's just being silly. You're all mucking around and they're being naughty. Come and sit down in front. Those clamps are so expensive, but since getting them, I use them all of the time. These parts are going to have me using them even more. Love it. Yes. 87 and 60. 87 people watching and 60. Well, that's great. There we go. Now, I was doing some gluing during the week. I was gluing some T-track, this stuff, into some plywood. And, oh, excellent. 65 is kicking on. Beautiful. 158 on the second channel. Keep it going on the second channel. That'd be great. Lostwitz Dave put himself in the corner every now and then. Haven't I switched the camera? Sorry, guys. Sorry, there it is. Okay, all good. Thanks, Wayne. It's my big brother looking after me. He tells me he's my big brother, but there you go. Thanks for that. No, so during the week, yeah, okay, here's the T-track that I put into some plywood, and I used epoxy resin to bond it in because I've used a couple of other things. And one didn't work too well, the other one worked brilliantly, but it was such a mess. And that's the polyurethane glue just expands, and it goes, if you haven't used polyurethane glue, you're going to be amazed at how invasive it is. It's like, I don't know, have you seen the film The Blob, where this thing just gets, it's a blob and it just gets bigger and bigger and envelops cars and people, you know, it's a 50s movie. Well, that's very much like polyurethane glue. It's the blob. So anyway, I used epoxy resin. It's a Techniglue that I use, which is a 2-to-1 mix. And I applied it with this little Rockler glue brush. Now, this, calling it Rockler is the brand that it is. You know, I'm not taking away from anything. Everyone would know it as a Rockler glue brush, but there are also, it's a generic design. You can get these things made by all sorts of different companies. It's a silicone head with a wedge on the end for putting it, run, don't walk. Okay, I don't know what that is anyway. So I'm going to show you, I left the glue here on purpose, and they say let the glue dry on the silicone head and it will tear off like a reptile skin. I'm going to do it in front of you. Now this is, as I say, it is Techniglue, and you pull it and you think, my God, it's all going to snap. Watch. One little bit got caught. It's come right off the head. This would be embarrassing if all of the head just disappears. It is hard, but it's better. There we go. Got it. See that? Reptile skin. Maybe if I come back just a little. See the little holes? It's amazing. Got it. All that's off. There we go. Now there's a couple of bits, whoop, ow, that didn't survive too well. But look at that. There's the brush, no glue on it. Now the other end is the spatula, and it cracks off pretty easily. You just bend it backwards and forwards. Try not to see, there's a bit of the glue's just come off. Don't get it caught under your fingernail. Of course, that would hurt. There we go. I could give that a quick touch with maybe a bit of a wash, and it's perfectly clean again. Now, believe it or not, it's going to be better to leave it in bulk on the brush. Gives you more to pull it off with, rather than try and wash it off. You can try and wash this stuff off with turpentine, and it would probably work, but I find it's better to let the product dry on the brush, and then we use it again for the next time. There we go. Just a little aside. Let me see if I can see the end of this one. Can you see those? Yeah, the little holes left over from the silicone parts of the brush. Next. What have we got? A quick look at the chat. Okay, down to there. Stephen, whoops, meant Stephen's channel. Carol, hello from Martinique. Where is Martinique? I have no idea. What is that, a country or a city? All right, what's the next thing? I need to use my pencil here and tick off things that we've done. So we've done the winner of the eye muffs, yellow box shed, we've done all that, and Paul's Lazy Susan, we've had a look at that. Kevin Cleaver watching the show. Let's see if I've got him up there. John, Marik, Lan, Luna, Dave, image would be that. And across we go. So during the week, Kevin threw up a picture on Facebook. This is where he watches the show from. And that's a lovely little work center he's got. I think that's a glass top on the table. A computer with a couple of monitors, actually 3 monitors all happening there. So he can do the real stuff while there's a picture of me up on the top. Now, I've got something that's just come through. It's probably John saying, Dave, switch cameras. So we'll go back over to there and there and happening again. Side cutters make good broken fingernail clippers, do they? All right. What have we got next? What next? I haven't seen anything come up under there. My phone is over there, and every now and then I hear it go ding. And phones are great, except for if you're doing something and it distracts you. Have you found that? All right, so we got Kevin there, and also now pets in the workshop. And I think we have Luna. Now this is Luna the ferret, and she hangs out. I don't know if Luna's a boy or a girl. Derek, you'll have to let me know. So it's Derek Lark down in Canberra, Luna the ferret, helping build the new workbench. How cool is that? And then back here, flicking back to this side. I have to remind myself once I change the image to actually push it onto the one that's going to air. So there we go, got that one. And look, if you've got pictures of your pets hanging out in the workshop, it's always good to see. When I was talking to Vicky this morning about it, I said, one of the highlights of the show today is going to be Luna the ferret. And she just went into hysterics. She said, you're kidding me. I said, no, the gentleman's got a pet ferret. And I've seen a guy getting around in Katoomba with a rat. It was a rat just, sitting on his shoulder. And people were paying him to take photographs. It was amazing. What's next? I've spoken about the first part of the show being this. Oh, all right. Interesting things from the week, and we will incorporate the Hills Men's Shed with that. I'm making sure that I've got everything done. Paul, John, we'll do John's in a second. Well, hold on. I've been a little bit indecisive here. We've had John showing stuff, and I promised to show his dust extraction hood that he made for his CNC machine. Now, fingers crossed for me that this is actually going to run. So here we go. See what happens. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Now I can talk through this. So there's a series of switches, rare earth magnets in the mount that's on the back there. That's his DeWalt trimmer that runs on, I think it's an X-Carve CNC machine. And he's holding the camera with one hand, so it's a little bit awkward to put it back on, but he'll find it, don't worry. I've seen it all the way through, and he does find it in the end. So there you go. How cool is that? John makes all these things. He just has these ideas. He's incredibly good with Fusion 360, which is the software that tells the machines what to do, the printer and also the CNC machine. And away you go. So I take my hat off to him. Okay, 9970. Thanks, Carl. Derek, girl. She's a girl. That Luna is a girl. Okay. Carl, Matrinica is a French West Indies island near St. Lucia and Dominica. Well, I'll tell you what, I think this is one of the more obscure places that we've been broadcast to. The Faroe Islands actually had the lead, but I think you've just taken the lead from Johannes Moa. Sorry, Johannes. Carol has just gone ahead. John, please say the name of your other show at the end. My other show. I'm not sure. All right. The other channel or the other show. So Steve has a channel as well called Steve's Festool Shed Talk, I think he calls it, on Facebook and YouTube. So check those out, because he loves doing little demonstrations with some Festool items. So he'll get his phone and it'll just be actual live. So he mucks it up as much as I do on this show, because there's no time for him to edit, because he's an extremely busy man. He's got a lot to do, and it's great that he's sharing his knowledge with us. All right, so I'm thinking we've got that done. Yes, viewers projects, I think I've got them all. Image, Luna the Ferret, Lon Davis, John Lafferty, Paul, my week. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try and read through this as it happens. This is my week. Of course, more mats for the floors. They were on sale up at Aldi again, so I jumped up and grabbed 4 packs. Autumn at my place. This is one of my weeping cherries, and they're all slowly starting to get the color. This is the ram on my dingo. I snapped the ram right off the head, and I took it up during the week to a friend of mine who welded it back on for me. So how nice was that? And my dingo is up and operating. Dingo's a little skid steer machine, very small bobcat. And while it's up there, he's got this beautiful radial arm drill press. Now that thing is around 80 years old. It's town. I think it was built in 1931. Amazing. This is the Hills Men's Shed. Now this is a photo I took with my phone. It does a panorama. It's quite decent. And this is the motor that this is the old motor that needed replacing on the thicknesser. And I was using the wheel pullers on it there. And this is inside the room. Now this is inside one room. And again, a panorama with the phone, so you'll notice the floor is a little bit dicky in spots as I was moving around to try and get the whole room in the image. This is their machine room. In the room to the left, they have all of their workbenches, and behind there is a little machine room for steel stuff, for steel fabrication, steel lathe, and they've also got a tea room out there as well. These things are fantastic, and if you can join a men's shed, I don't think it costs much. Maybe it's $1 coin entry every day. So a gold coin, so it'll be $1 or $2, whatever you can afford. And amazing, amazing, amazing. I love them. I think they are so good for people that are feeling isolated, or someone who can't afford to buy their own machines, and they zap down to the men's shed and they've got communal use of all the machines. You'll have a couple of people who are champions of the different machines in the shed, and you must go work under their instruction. That's one of the conditions of going there. But you know what? Suck it up. Swallow your pride, go there, let the guy tell you how to do it, and do it as he says, and everything will be fine. Of course, there's the occasion where someone who is training you may not be up to your standard, of course, but normally they are pretty good with that kind of stuff. So the Men's Shed organization in Australia is also in a few other countries around the world, needs supporting, and if you can get out there and support it by joining one, or if you're a business that would like to support some local good stuff, do it. I love going out to them, and it was a pleasure to go out and repair that machine, have a quick chat with some of the guys there, and they fill me in on the projects they're doing, and they're so proud of them, which is great. Next thing, we'll jump over there onto that in a second, but I do need to show you this. Now, Carl Karcher, who is watching at the moment, sent me this book. Now, this was his uncle's. This is the Handyman's Handbook, and it's 19 1931 as well. And I'll prove that by showing you this page here. There we go. I'm hoping it says 1931 now after I've opened my trap. But I was reading through it. It's fascinating, this book. I haven't read it all, obviously. I haven't got the time. But I got to a point up near the end here, and it's modern lawnmower maintenance. So it's care of lawnmowers. And this is the first diagram I saw, and I thought, hello, that's a really intricate base plate underneath. How do they drive that thing? And then I realized it was the old style with the drum, and how to sharpen that helix. So basically that's all it is. That cutter is a helical cutter. And I think it's a 6-sided helix on those machines. But that is amazing. Thank you so much for that, Carl. It was his uncle's, and he had written a little bit of a thing to me at the front here from Carl. And you know, this arrived at work. And I opened it up. I said, what's this? And the guys were hanging around me, and I read through it. And I was really touched. Thank you so much for that, Carl. And the guys around me, they were saying, are you kidding me? What's the story here? Why do people do this? I said, well, people are nice. I like people. Okay, so we've got Carl there. Let's jump over for the demonstration. We'll wind the show up with the demonstration for Louis. I'm going to read a quick bit over here as well. Let's switch this camera. That was lucky. That was very lucky. I nearly stuffed up again big time. I've got my drink over here as well, so I'll do a quick read. Darren Allen. Dave has 2 YouTube accounts, subscribe to both Dave Stanton and Dave Stanton Live. Excellent. Woodshop porn, yes. Den's Bushpeak. Dave, where's the Hills Men's Club? Eric Mobb's Reserve. So if you're in Balcombe Hills area at all and you know Eric Mobb's Reserve, there's a scout hall, there's an oval, and there's the men's shed as well. So it's so well worthwhile joining. They're a really nice group of people, and they've got 3 women members as well. And that's something that I take my hat off to them, because I know there are a couple of men's sheds that exclude women, and I think that's wrong. You know, they say that there's some members there that have issues with women. Well, maybe they could work the days so that they have a couple of days that the guys know that there will be women there, and a couple of days that maybe they would suggest to the women not to come. Not saying you can't come, but suggest not to. You know, I think we have to work through these kind of issues. Michael, men's sheds are a fantastic place to help loneliness and men's health. Definitely. The men's sheds looks great. Wish there was some in Florida. If they allow women, that is. Well, Sue B, yes, in Australia they do. They're government funded and community funded. And I think that it's one of the conditions, you know, they can't discriminate. And, you know, I know that there are a couple that try not to have women there, whether they just outright say, no, you're not allowed here, or whether they make them feel uncomfortable. I don't know. Carol, Caribbean Island, sorry for my English, I'm French speaking. That's fine, Carol. John, a friend moved into a retirement community in NC, which have one. I hear more and more are doing this. Maru Adventurer, Subi, see if there is a maker space in your area. Many have woodworking components as well as electronics, computers, and metalworking. Such a great idea. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump back over here. We'll get the... I'm going to take the bench off the table for the moment. Now, I'm not doing this because of any other reason than when I'm sharpening, the bench tends to have a tiny shake, and as far as the camera is concerned, it doesn't look good on the show. So that's all. See how easy it is to move? Pop them up in the corner. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now I'm going to use my oil stone again this week. And my oil stone, I put up against there, and I'll get one of my clamps from down here. I love this. You see the drawers just sneaking out? That's a sneak preview. That's as much as you're going to see. Back it goes. Put this guy in here, and then lock it in position. I love this stuff. It's just, every time I come up with an idea in the shed, or the shop, whatever you want to call it, it gives me a silly smile. Do you get that? I'm sure you come up with ideas in your own workshop. We'll give that a bit of a squirt. Actually, I'm going to pop a little bit of kerosene on it this time, if I can find the kero. Kerosene is a very good oil for, I've just called kerosene an oil, but maybe it's not. But I clean the oil stone. So I use oil stone, diamond stones now, and so on. So I use a little bit of rag, wherever it is. I'll still keep reading. Oh, Carl, that was a pleasure for reading that. It's, as I say, it touched me. It really did, big time. Kerosene, just to clean the stone. And I got a bit on the bench. Doesn't matter because my bench has got laminate on it. Oh, that's lovely. And you can use that as the agent as well, as a light oil. Kerosene's we used to have kerosene oil burners, and that was our heater once. When I was a kid, we had a kerosene heater. A thing of the past. They're probably worth a fortune by now. And I'll get the jig. Whoop, throwing it all over the place. Isn't it lucky I've got this matting on the floor? Saves me so many times. And whoop, flies down. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Walking around with bloody advertising. Where are we up to? Next thing. That's rattled me a bit. Have you had embarrassing experiences like that? You don't have to go into too much detail, but I'll tell you what, that's one I'm going to remember for a while. Now, under here, are you still watching or have you all gone? The secret project or too early? No, I'll tell you what. I have a meeting. All right, let's just jump out of this for a second. I have a meeting during this week, and I have something very, very big. I'm just trying to finalize the details with these other people. And so I will be able to let you guys know next week about this unbelievable thing that's happening. So hold on to your hats for that one. Also, you remember last week I said that I had to go and see the skin guy. I had some spots on my face that I was concerned about. He said, it's not an issue. I got a totally clean bill of health. And I'll tell you what, it's such a relief for me. I'm still rattled about getting around with a flyover. That's terrible. Look away. So I had a couple of spots, and one of the things is just up here. I've got this little bit of a dent, and I thought, it might be a little skin cancer. It's called a pore of wine. P-O-R-E of W-I-N-E. Look it up on the internet, where it might be just a pore that's a larger pore than the rest of the pores in your skin, and it has a little bit of a mound around it, like a little, I don't know, like a little anthill in the middle of the desert. You know, it's just a little bump with a larger hole than the rest of the desert's got. So look that up. Okay, secret size cutting oil. I use kerosene and graphite. John, Peter Lissier, sausage. Dead men don't fall out of windows, Dave. Okay, great news, Dave. Yeah, it's huge. It's blowing me away. So Vicky and I are getting stuck into the garage this weekend as well. We've got to do some tidying up. I will be doing a video on using a concrete grinder. So next Thursday, I'm going to grind the floor in the garage and I'm going to paint it. So just be aware, it's big. So thank you very much for that. Now, coming back to here, we're going to set this up. All right. Now, this is the roller. This is the carriage that carries the clamp. Now, this clamp has got 3 different colors on it. It's got 1, 2, 3, which is red, yellow, and green. We forget about the green and the red. We stick with the yellow, okay? Now, I'm going to mount that on here. So it's the right way around, of course. I have to remember which is the right way. That way up, David. There we go. Yep, that's the way. So it goes onto the section there, like I've got it put there. Yeah, you can see it from the side. It's going to be easy enough to see. Lovely. I'll put the mount screw in there where I can find it. Where are you? There it is. You know, if there was no effect on the chat, I would edit that section out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm brave. I can take it. So we'll let it go. Otherwise, if I edit it out, all of the chat will disappear, and where's the fun in that? So look, that's the way it goes. That doesn't quite look right for some strange reason. Maybe it is. I slide the blade through there. That pulls it up. That's there. That's there. That's correct. Okay. Now, this is what's called the registration jig. I'll come up closer. And you'll see it has got little indents along here. And it tells me as well the degrees. Now, the light over in this corner is not great for this, but it's going to be close enough. So I can move this pin and the stop along there. Now, why would I want to do that? That's going to be easy to see. It's going to set the different degrees. It's going to set the distance from the front of the clamp out this way so that the correct angle is going to be set from the roller to the bevel down on the blade. So we slide this, it's got a dovetailed section there, onto the dovetailed section up here. So we slide it in like so. And the blade that I'm going to sharpen is my blade that I was working on last week, which is my Stanley 4.5 blade. And its width is, we better measure it, I think it's 2 3/8 of an inch. And also we need to measure the angle. So I use this guy here. This is a little gauge that tells me the angles. So I can put that into there like so. You won't be able to see this terribly well until I get the correct angle. That's too steep. Actually, that's pretty good. That looks like 35. Let's go back to 30. I think it's 35. Alrighty, so I have a look here, and I'm going to go to 35 on the jig. So I'm going to slide this back to 35, which is there on the yellow section. There's an indent. Okay. Now what that's going to do, and I'm going to set the width across here. I don't know if you can see there's little marks through here. This isn't really the best camera to be doing this with. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'll switch the cameras around to the other side while I do this part. And it might work a whole lot easier, and then we'll just flick it back the other way. Come on, over you go. There. All right. That's a whole lot easier to see, isn't it? All right. So you can see there are marks along here. That tells me how wide the chisel is, or the plane blade. So I'm going to go to 2 1/2 of the little indents. Okay, that should give me 2 3/8, which is right there. I'll clamp that tight. So what this is doing is it's setting up the blade so that there's a little indicator right here. There, you can see that. It's lining up with 2 3/8 there. The distance out is setting the angle from there, from here, back to the stop. The fence now has been set so that the edge of the fence here is going to center the blade in the jig. So I'll get the blade and put it in. Remember, it's bevel down. So I've slid the blade in. I'll do it again so you can watch. No sleight of hand. It goes in there, slide it up until it hits there. And then I'm going to put my finger on it, hold it steady. And I'm going to tighten these 2 little clamps up. Now you don't tighten it up like Hercules, just so it grabs hold of it. Pull them down equally. And you'll see that the blade is in the jig centered, even though the registration jig looks like it's way out. Now we can loosen off this screw on this registration jig and take it off again. There we go. Now the blade is 90 degrees in the jig. And away we go. Bring it back to there. Let's see if this camera is going to work all right down there, or whether it's going to blow it. No, it's not going to be too bad. All right. Move the kerosene out of the way. And I look respectable enough there. Bit of kerosene. We'll put a bit more kero in there. And I'm going to just do this for a little bit because we're nearly done for time. But thanks for everybody for coming and watching the show, and thanks for jumping over to the other channel and subscribing. If you've done so, that's fantastic. And so I explained why, and you'll also understand why all YouTubers ask for you to subscribe. If you can, that'd be great. Now, one thing that I haven't shown you is on the edge here is the micro bevel adjustment. At the moment, you'll see that little pin is aiming down at 6 o'clock. It needs to be aiming up at 12. I've just moved it back up to the top section there. Let's see if I can get it so you can see it. See that little dent in the brass thing right at the front here? Whoop. There. There it is. It needs to be pointing up at 12 o'clock. So you can see it there, Louis. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. It's going to be traveling this way. So I've already flattened the back. So now it's a matter of backwards and forwards. And it does a very, very nice job. And again, I always rotate the stone to use as much of the stone so we get good wear. Oh, that's the fine side of my stone. Now we had this on the diamond stone last week, or the last time I had it on the diamond stone. But you'll see that's the back that I haven't, you know, it's flat, but I do need to touch that up a little bit. But this is the edge that I'm getting at the moment. Move that bottle out. It's a lot of contrast on that bottle. It seems to be wanting to focus on it. So now we're going to do the micro bevel. So now this knob, I'm going to turn around so it's facing 180 degrees rotation. So it's facing down at 6 o'clock, like that. Can you see it there? It's focusing down the bottom again. There we go. Now what's that's done is pushed the wheel, or that roller, down ever so slightly. So it's now tipped the blade up just a little bit more, and that's the micro bevel. So we'll give that a little touch. We don't need to do it a lot. Now I'm going to undo the clamp. Okay, don't worry, Dave, your cameras are mostly from the waist up. Didn't see your air-conditioned bridges. Hello to Belgium, very nice video. John, Dave, just realized you have created a virtual men's shed. Yes, we have, as a matter of fact. Okay, so there's the blade. And as I always do, I strop by hand. Now, if you're not comfortable doing this, use a piece of leather. All I'm doing is bending off the burr that's on the front there. Oh man, that is sharp. Now to test sharp, if it holds onto your thumbnail or a fingernail, which this is, it's holding all the way up to the edge. It's beautiful. Magic. Now the other thing is, guys, let me tip this up whilst I'm here. I think it'll get me here. The other thing is the, I've forgotten already what the other thing was. I'm focusing on other things at the moment. I think that's about it. How's the time? 12 o'clock. Yeah, I think we might close the show up at the moment. I'll swing the camera around to this side, to where I was, on the bench here. Drop it down a little bit. Okay. I had it happen at a wedding. I was the best man, and when the priest asked if anyone had objections, something from the background. Yes, that would have been embarrassing. Best man's flies down. Um, it's. I guess it's something that's going to happen to everyone. I haven't had it happen before. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. So that'll be a check for me in the future. It'll be one of the checks. Check that I've made the stream public. Check that the lights aren't going to turn off. Check that the cameras are on the right image, which I'm trying to get done correctly all the time. Check that the fly is up. All right, Dave, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but as a visual learner, the demos are just the bee's knees. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Look, doing it live, I can't control what's happening on the cameras as much, and I've got a time restraint. So if I was doing that as a full-on demonstration, I'd have the 4 cameras running. I'd make sure the light is perfect on every camera, and I would go through it for hours and make sure that I'm picking up the actual best part of what I'm doing, so that I'm transferring the knowledge from here to you guys, to the person watching. Keys Wallet Willie. Thanks, Stephen. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, how about next week we get some, during the week, send me some things in as suggestions of things you might want to see on the show. Now, obviously, I can't build a sideboard on the show. It's just, it's not going to happen. But small demonstrations, things that you're not quite sure of, and if you can get them to me early in the week or even this afternoon, I might be able to research it if I don't know myself and try and find out for you. Now, I don't want it to be how to do cold fusion. I don't want it to be, it's just bizarre. How are they doing these missile launches and then bringing the booster rockets back to Earth and making them land upright to be reused again? That stuff blows me away. But smaller things like the things I'm showing, how to sharpen, I don't know, maybe how to punch a nail. There's a whole lot of things. I don't know. I really don't know. It gets to a point where I can show you as much as I know, and then you have to stimulate me to think beyond that, and I'll do it. I'll try and get it done for you. So thanks for watching. I shall see everyone next week. Have a great week. And don't forget, send some pictures of pets in the shed, your projects at home that you're working on. Doesn't have to be timber. It can be other stuff. And I shall see you next week. Bye.